So the golden tumbler debate
finally
is solved.
Well, the golden tumbler debate's not solved.
Okay.
We don't know where it is.
Okay.
Which this should be proof that I did not take it.
I didn't take it either, Dave. I feel like we're puppets right now.
You think we're
Someone's
puppets?
pulling strings.
Well, I do want to say congratulations.
I appreciate it. I'm saying
The
congratulations.
fantasy football debacle is finished.
I'm
Jake.
so glad we're past this. I'm so glad that we
was a fun
You
fight.
are.
determined
kidding
a
me?
winner.
It was a
I'm
fun
glad we
fight.
determined a
It was
winner.
fun. Both teams
it came
were
down
worthy,
to
I
it.
think.
Maybe next year there won't be some sort of force majeure.
Force majeure. See,
Force
look
majeure,
at
as
the
you
kid
said, some
here.
crazy-
Look at you.
Situation
Look
where
at the kid.
we can go through it. I'm just glad. Thanks to Shapiro for clearing that up too. I'm just glad
This was a just ending.
it was a just.
This was a just ending.
It was a
right?
just
I can go down like
We're both
So
we're
Blaine-
both winners in my book.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy about it? Here's the worst part about it.
And Blake's
I hit my
looking at
parlay. I hit my parlay.
Yeah.
Even when I win, I lose.
I couldn't believe I hit mine. Texas overtime, Virginia. If you watch that, Virginia.
Darby Lou came. I was
No,
grilling.
like-
I almost
Darby Lou
threw
came
up.
out to the grill screaming when Oklahoma hit that 3-pointer.
Really?
It's going to overtime.
Yeah,
guys,
that's awesome.
like I almost wrecked the car at the end of the Oklahoma Texas game on the way to your house.
Well, geez.
No, like we're driving. No joke. No joke. We're driving out because I had Texas in a parlay, like a personal, not a show bet. Like I hit my show bet parlay
Yeah.
for Saturday, but in a personal, like in a 10-teamer. You remember the one I had? Came over
Yes,
and was
I
like,
do remember.
Dude, I'm 7 out of 7 right now, and ended up not working out because Gonzaga just looked me in the eyes. But that's the story for another
That's
day.
not surprising.
No, we're driving out of the neighborhood, and I'm literally, it's the last possession of the Oklahoma-Texas game. Texas is up 2, I believe, and Oklahoma has the ball, and I'm watching. I got it ESPN Plus on, and I'm driving, and all of a sudden, at the last second, I look up on my phone, and there's like my neighbor's mailbox. And
no.
I said, read, and then swerved the car over and didn't hit it. And then Texas won. So it was a win all around.
Well,
But, and Reed was mad for a couple minutes, but it's like I told her, look, if it's not a loss if it's a lesson. All right? We didn't hit anything.
So you learned from it.
I learned from it. It's not a
The
loss.
Virginia game scared me. Like,
Can you hit the 3 at the end, Notre Dame?
Oh my God, they're
Can you
shooting
make a
free
shot?
throws. They're shooting free throws. Virginia's up 2.
Yeah, it was the
Hits it off the front of the rim, kick it
perfect
out.
try when you're trying to miss one.
Some kid who
Dane
looks like
Goodwin.
he hits 90%
Yeah.
of his threes. Wide open. I thought it was over. I was like, what a way to go out.
And I had 3 different 3-teamers at different odd levels that
Yeah.
I felt good about to try and. It was like a Final Jeopardy situation because
It
neither
was.
one of us knew what
was.
odds we were going to take. And one of them I took had Providence money line plus 102 against Villanova at home. I decided to stay away from it, and Providence won.
Oh,
Look,
the way it goes down.
hindsight's always.
we both hit.
You-
It's a
you
win.
both
It's a
hit.
win.
So congrats on your tumbler.
I appreciate it.
Ball don't lie.
It was a
Congrats
great
on the year.
Now, where's the real
was-
tumbler?
that was
That's what
fun.
I want to know. Walsh.
Where is it, Walsh?
It was a great season. Proud of
Had
everybody
fun,
involved.
kinda.
We'll do it. We'll do it again next year. Tiger Woods apologizes for his prank at the Genesis Invitational. Eric Bieniemy becomes the offensive coordinator in Washington, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. flukes his way to a Daytona 500 victory in the longest race in history. I'm Jake Crain. We're back in the studio killing hooks like Rufio, and this is Crain and Company. Now, they say we are currently living in the age of dead comedy, and that was furthered this weekend by Tiger Woods caving to the mob and apologizing for handing fellow PGA Tour golfer Justin Thomas a tampon after he outdrove him on a hole at the Genesis Invitational this past weekend. Now this, after USA Today's Christine Brennan, or Mega Karen as she's known in some circles, wrote a scathing article blasting Woods as a fake girl dad before she descended into a manifesto about how misogynistic golf is and really how terrible men are in general. Now, I'm shocked she's still single, but we've become so soft that now golf jokes between friends are even banished. Even the greatest golfer ever in Tiger Woods is not immune to the whims of a single old woman crying into the night about how golf is the conduit for all male toxicity. Now, the truth is, some golf clubs remain male only because golf is an outlet for men away from the house. Just like there are places only women can go to break the norm. it goes both ways. And it's good for us to have outlets away from normal home life pressures for each person. Now, just like anything in life, excess can be dangerous, and there are cases where it does go haywire. But for the most part, we need to still embrace the things that make us different. Because once you eliminate places like this, or you just make everything accessible for each gender all the time, then you may end up in a place where men can just walk into women's locker rooms. A place a lot like this one. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my co-host, David Cone. Yeah, Cone's shocked that she's not with somebody after watching that, but I was more disappointed in Tiger caving and apologizing, because if anybody has enough built up or enough cachet, and people say, oh, well, he's been through all these controversies, so he's just trying to cover his ass. Man, forget that. It was a joke on the golf course between two guys. The criticism to me on the surface level is a waste of time, but Christine Brennan going into that tirade about this, I'm sorry they don't let you into the men's club. Christine, that's got to be what it is, right? I mean, you obviously got to do something with your time. So maybe you go out there and play golf. You want to be one of the guys. I'm sorry. Sometimes it just goes down like that.
I'm not familiar with her, and I didn't read this article. I have a few thoughts here. One, I thought it was funny. The gesture, the prank by Tiger Woods, I thought was funny. Maybe that says more about me. I don't know. I did.
You're a guy,
thinking,
yeah.
Would I still find this funny as my newborn daughter grows up? Like, I don't know. Those are questions I can't answer yet. Maybe I think this is childish. I do think there is some fair criticism of Tiger Woods in the situation. One, it's a tournament that he's hosting, right? And it's a professional golf tournament. I think that you could say, look, Tiger Woods, you're not only hosting this tournament, you're playing in it. You know, save this for a private round when you have Justin Thomas at your club and you pull a prank like this. On the professional stage of the PGA Tour, I think there is a fair criticism to say that Tiger Woods shouldn't have done this. And honestly, you guys know how quick I am to call out people who apologize when they don't feel they're in the wrong. I didn't really mind Tiger Woods apologizing in this situation. One, to me, he is just the consummate professional. I know he's gotten in some trouble in his time. He's always stepped up to the podium and owned it. I think he is the best when it comes to that aspect of the profession. I think Peyton Manning's right behind him, Tom Brady, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal. These guys are great at the podium. They're always extreme professionals. But Tiger Woods, to me, is always the best at it. He got up there. He said, look, this was just a joke. You know, I apologize. Moved on from it. It didn't seem like he was groveling in any sense. And I'll tell you what got buried in this whole thing was another gesture, which I wish Tiger Woods was in the headline for, which is when he walked over to the little girl, Madeline Quinn, who had the heart transplant and got to check off a box because her second thing on her bucket list was to meet Tiger Woods, and he went over and checked the marker off for her.
Yeah, and you know, to me, if this was the Masters or if this was a major, I could understand people saying it's not the most professional look. But with the Genesis, to me, it's kind of one of the, you're coming off the Waste Management, right, where people are screaming at you at the 17th. I felt like it's kind of good for golf. I feel like this kind of in a sport where it's very expensive to play. There is a certain bracket of the United States that really can't afford to play golf. Let's be honest, especially play it at really nice places for a high level. I thought this was kind of humanizing of golf, and I can understand the criticism from a professional standpoint. But the reason I think he apologized wasn't for that. I think he apologized because it was looked at as somehow misogynistic or a man making fun of a woman. But again, these same people, these Christine Brennans and these ultra mega transformer Karens that come together, how can this be an insult to women when apparently, according to these people, there is no difference between men and women?
No.
How is this not as offensive to men, Blaine, as it is to women? If you know, a man's a man, a woman's a woman.
I mean, what is a woman? Let's be honest. Do we really know the answer to that question? But the thing about me was Tiger is this. This was planned, right? You've had to have this planned.
100%.
No one just finds a tampon walking around the golf course, right? That's just not a thing.
Well, you find them in the men's
sooner or
restroom.
later, you had this planned, right? And at what point did you not know, unless you're completely out of touch of what's been going on around you in society, that you basically can wake up, say one thing, and offend half the nation? All right, that's the easiest thing to do. So from a PR standpoint, you weren't going to get away with this, right? There's more cameras out here than Eagle Eye. Like, they're going to find you if you did this. So I just don't know if you had this planned already to do this and then have to be so out of touch that you'd have to come apologize for it. Really doesn't make sense. But I think it's hilarious, to be honest. This is just me. This is just golf. First of all, Tiger's been through so many damn injuries. He's going against Justin Thomas, who's in his prime. He outdrive the guy by 20 yards. Unless you thought you were going to get away with this, which you knew you weren't deep down, I think it's hilarious. I mean, let's be honest here. Guys do outdrive women when it comes to golf. That's not a knock against women, I don't think. But you outdrove them by 20-plus yards. But Tiger, I don't know why, if you would have done this, that you would have came back and apologized for it.
Well, this falls in the vein of like what we used to say during baseball. Like if you kicked a ball in the infield, we'd say, hey, man, make sure you keep your skirt down. You know, it's just like it falls into that vein
or does your husband play?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like it's not like, oh my God, I hate women. They can't catch a ground ball. It's just a way for men to rib at each other. Like it's just.
And I think most women find this fun.
I
really do. Most women find this fun.
Barbie Lou thought it was.
Yeah, and just the ones who wake up every morning. Well, the word misogynistic and racism gets kicked around so much these days. It is just slowly losing its meaning.
So let's talk about the competitor aspect of this.
Yeah.
One, it did take Tiger to the 9th hole. You know he had this
for
thing,
sure.
Like Blaine's talking about. It took him to the 9th hole to be able to outdrive Justin, I guess, to pull this prank off. But also, I'm just thinking about old school Tiger. Like, if this is mid-2000s, he's not doing this with Phil Mickelson.
No.
Right? Like, he's trying to bury those guys.
No.
Is this a sign of the times that Tiger's sort of saying, look, I'm embracing my role as
the old head
mentor figure?
Yeah.
I'm a friend. I'm legitimately friends with some of these younger guys, and I'm not trying to kill them on the golf course the way I used to.
Well, we all know Tiger wants to win, right? Like he wants to win, but I think I agree with you in the point of what Tiger's focus and determination on winning is unparalleled unless you look at guys like Michael Jordan, right? His whole career was built on, I am so focused, I'm so prepared, I'm so talented, there's no way you can beat me. Now as an older guy, and as a guy who changed the game by hitting the ball further, Tiger Woods changed the game by stepping up there, being able to drive and arrive in 2-in par 5s easily and shrink the course. Well, now he's gone through his surgeries, he's the older guy now, he's the veteran. I think it's something where, you know, this is something that him and Justin Thomas said at a bar and at a golf club sometime. Like, you know, when I know I can't really outdrive you that much, but the next time I'm gonna hand you a tampon.
Yeah,
it's like it feels like
the origin story.
It is. It's almost like a passing of the guard a little bit.
Yeah.
In that I'm not the guy coming out here playing gorilla ball all the time and just knocking the ball further than everybody. Like, but when I do now, I'm going to let you know about it because I'm still old and hobbling around on this golf course. But every now and then, I can catch that lightning that I used to.
If you've watched any of that, I've watched a couple episodes of that Full Swing series.
Yeah, I'm going to wait till it's all out there.
And one cool aspect, and it kind of retains what you were saying earlier, Dave. Rory McIlroy was talking after the camera was in the clubhouse. He's like, every big tournament he's won, before that last putt's gone in, the first person to text him about congratulations to Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
And that doesn't tell you just the relationship Tiger has with most of these guys.
Yes.
I mean, that should tell you all you need to know.
He is truly a mentor to them. Now, I found Michael Johnson's criticism the most interesting, actually, the Olympic sprinter, just because he has achieved at such a high level. He basically came out and said, this is not surprising. Tiger Woods has never been a leader. He continues failing time and time again in his personal life and aspects like this, and the public still just embraces him and forgives him. And I thought about that. I read it a couple times because I was thinking about it, and I thought, you know, I think that is a good sign that, again, when Tiger Woods makes mistakes, he gets at the podium, he owns it, he apologizes. That's why people embrace him. People do love a comeback story, and they love the fact that Tiger Woods has been able to come back time and time again from some of these things that are controversial.
Well, Tiger Woods, love him or hate him, has been through the whole story arc. The glow up as the chosen one, the great one, sets records, making cuts and winning majors. I know he hadn't passed Jack, but you know he lives up to the hype. And then there's the fall from grace from the superstar that everybody went around. And then there's the comeback. He wins the Masters, and then he stumbles again. And then there's the comeback. And now this is like the end. This is the, hey, get on the raft. We're gonna push you down the river as you wave to everybody and have fun on the way out. So I feel like Tiger Woods is one of the few characters, and LeBron a little bit has done this. There really hasn't been a ton of fall off with LeBron from, you know, winning standpoint. Like he seems to have won consistently, and it hasn't cost him off the court to where he can't play. It seems like Tiger has gone the whole story arc of a hero to villain back to hero. And I feel like that's very rare nowadays. But I'll tell you what else is very rare nowadays, especially somebody that drinks a lot of coffee like me, is finding coffee that actually really gets me going, that I enjoy the flavor. Because life is too short, guys, to be drinking bad coffee. It's pretty simple. And if you don't want bad coffee, that means you want good coffee. Nay, you want great coffee. Nay, you want elite coffee. And elite coffee is what our friends at blackrifle.com do. And if you use our promo code BOOSTER, that's BOOSTER at checkout, you get 10% off your purchase and your first coffee club order. That's right, blackriflecoffee.com. Use the promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, for 10% off. You can also find Black Rifle Coffee in grocery and convenience stores near you. Just scream Crain & Company at the checkout when you do, so we know that you heard it here. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee. You got some gunship over there?
Gunship.
Yeah, wake up, you're dead.
Hey, Black Rifle.
But not
like
because
Tiger
you drank
Woods,
great coffee.
Just, like Tiger Woods, it's never bitter. Never bitter.
Never bitter.
I'm hearing that there's
never been better.
I hear there's a new Flaming Dragon brew they're coming out with.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard
Hot
of
off the
that.
press?
Hear that, or are you saying it so they're
Are you
here?
hoping that?
I've heard myself say it. So that's just putting in the work. Putting in the motion.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All right,
sir.
what's going on in the Booster Club?
I had to get to this one, the Daily Wire chat. Poison Alley says, my chemo makes me sick overnight, but I'm so up for Crain & Company, man. I appreciate you coming in.
Keep
We
fighting.
are in a fight with you for sure.
Keep fighting.
All right, let's go to Jimbo Eagle to start off the day with a donation. Who would have thought? Jimbo, $5 donation, says, as horrible as this year's NBA All-Star Game was,
I'm going to get to it.
Is it at least safe to say that Matt McClung's performance in the dunk contest was top 5 all time?
Who'd have thought a white man would save the dunk contest?
Yeah.
Plot twist. Where's M. Night Shyamalan? No, we're going to get to it. We're going to get to the All-Star break.
Let's go to Matty Ice 1994. He's kind of saying, well, the Tiger Woods kind of career is kind of the same way like John Jones was in the UFC. It's kind of a comeback story, too. A little bit different of what John Jones got caught for than what Tiger got for, but you could compare those for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, John Jones is one of the greatest fighters we've seen, but have we seen John Jones put together the consistency that we saw Tiger Woods? It just seems like John Jones just keeps getting suspended. Like, that's what I remember about John Jones now. Yeah, I remember him going in there and beating people up, and doing it in a way that is very violent and very fast. But now I just think of him as the guy that gets suspended. He's like Josh Gordon. That's what he's like to me.
All right, let's go to Laura Brown. She wants to know, what has been the biggest disappointment so far this year in basketball? Let's go college basketball.
In basketball, I think North Carolina. I mean, they're in the first 4 out right now. When you return Caleb Love, Leaky Black, Armando Baycott, RJ Davis. I mean, right now you're struggling to make the tournament. You hear about the off-the-court issues, whatever. It's just Hubert Davis in year 2. You almost got to the mountaintop and you lost to Kansas, which Kansas looking back to form right now.
Undoubtedly, it's North Carolina, and they still have Virginia, I believe, and Duke, and possibly Notre Dame still to go in the season. So if they miss the tournament, it's not going to just be for this season. It's going to be one of the worst collapses that we've seen in our generation.
And I would have been able to make an argument for Kentucky, but they've kind of turned it around a little bit here lately.
Big win, yeah.
Seems like they're going to be in the NCAA tournament.
All right, the Trash Panda says, good morning, guys. Long-time listener, but first-time commentator. Appreciate it.
Yeah, come on in.
Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube.
Yeah.
Hit that notification bell as well. Hit that like button. It helps us grow the show, right? You want more? It's like watering flowers. Right, you guys water the subscriptions. Guess what? It grows, and then all of a sudden, we've taken over the sports world.
All right, JMJ, pray for us. Who wants to know, yes or no, will you be offering something up for Lent, which starts this Ash Wednesday?
Will I be offering something up?
Yeah.
Like a sacrifice?
Whatever you need.
There's this rabbit in the front yard that's pissing me off. But, what will I be giving up? I'll tell you what I'll give up. I will give up dessert.
Dessert.
And after that heavenly Oreo stuff we brought over to your crib?
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about that. What was that thing called again?
I don't know. I think they used to call it crack. Like, this is the way it was. It's just
Heavenly Oreo dessert.
Heavenly Oreo. It's heavenly Oreo pie.
You missed a dessert this weekend.
Dude, when I'll tell you. And Reed doesn't, here's the crazy thing. Reed doesn't even like Oreos.
So she didn't even have any of that?
No. Wow. Your son loved it. We have that video.
I bet it was good. I don't like Oreos, but I bet it was
shovel hand, like Ace was shoveling it hand to mouth. Like Reed was, that's all she talked about the whole ride home.
Ace is already like 6'3". I saw David show me a picture.
No, I told David, I was like, dude, he can reach above the bar cart. And he's like,
they grow, dude. That man's grown so quick. Let's go to Mike Arfef. It's a lifestyle, baby. He says, I've been loving golf for the past 2 years. So many great players. The GOAT is still playing, and the Live Tour adds the villainous competition. Let's keep it going. What's going on with the Live Tour, man?
Look, it's again, there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs in this thing. I like the competition. I like free market competition. Now, I know saying anything with Saudi Arabia and free markets kind of, it's like saying jumbo shrimp or giant dwarf. It's kind of like an oxymoron. But in this case, I like that the Live can compete against the PGA. You're hearing some guys like Brooks Koepka maybe having a little bit of buyer's remorse on the Live side, but they'll continue to work out the kinks. I like the competition. I think it'll make it better. The way they do the point system to me is what I find fascinating. You kind of see what Liv tried to do with the Asian Tour. That to me is where it's going to get a little iffy.
For the golf fans out there, stay tuned for our full review of the Full Swing documentary on Netflix. We're going to have that for you soon.
All right, let's go to Charles Moore. What's up, Charles? He says, is Texas A&M not being the top 25 in basketball a jab at A&M or the SEC? They're number 2 in conference record and undefeated.
I saw they were 25 this morning
in conference play.
Let me double check. I saw they were 25 this morning.
Let's look at the AP and make sure we're right, because I know we got that in rapid fire as well. I'm looking at it right now, and I've got A&M at 25, which to me is still disrespectful. How Miami is 22-5 and at number 13, and A&M is 20-7 with the record they have in the SEC. When you look at the net of some of these SEC teams, especially when you look at the defensive quality of the league overall, is laughable at best.
But you know who's not complaining about it?
Who?
Miami and Texas A&M.
No, and
they love it. They love. Hey, give us, just add another chip on our shoulder. Because they already know they're going to be in the tournament.
If you're A&M after what happened to you last year,
I get it.
You're just happy to be ranked. Top 25 means we're in the first 68.
But think about this, guys. I think they end the season with Alabama. And they only have, one more SEC loss?
Yeah.
This thing, the SEC regular season championship could come down to that final game.
Buzz Williams, to me right now, Nate Oates, obviously, with what they're doing at Alabama, he's got to be the front runner for Coach of the Year. But, man, what Buzz Williams is doing at A&M this year, coming off and using kind of that negative momentum from last year to vault you into this year, not making the NCAA tournament. And Texas A&M, if that Wade, the Wade Hunter kid, I believe his name is, he can keep shooting well from 3. They're scrappy enough. I like Marble down low and some of the pieces that they have. Dennis can get hot shooting from outside. I think they're a little bit better offensively this year with that same scrappy mentality on defense. Well, they'll fight you for 4 quarters.
Well, Texas A&M has an opportunity to send a message tonight. They host Tennessee. You win that one, and you stay with only those 2 SEC losses. That's going to be huge.
No, it's going to come down to the wire.
All right, Ratchet Dewan wants to know, Jacob deGrom over under 20 starts this season.
Over.
You like the over in that?
Say over.
Okay. Let's go to Laura Brown. She wants to know, did anybody watch any baseball this weekend?
Hell yeah.
And who looked good?
Hell yeah. Look, college baseball, back in full swing, pun intended. And in these early series, I talk about this in college basketball. You're going to have some surprises, and you're going to have some absolute beatdowns. We're not going to know for a couple of weekends. You've got to see these guys' rotations. Do you have 3 starters Friday through Sunday that you feel good about? Do you have enough arms to be able to get through the midweek games and save yourself up for the weekend? But just looking across the board, the LSU with Dylan Cruz knows that they look as advertised to me. There wasn't a ton of upsets, but it was just good to hear those balls pinging off those bats, those special college bats. We know it's a great time of year. You got some big matchups coming up. You got some tournaments coming up. Really excited to see college baseball down the pipe. It's going to take a couple weekends for me to kind of get a feel who's really legit, who's not. I got to see all your arms consistently. But look, you talk about the quality of play. I'm watching guys pump at 90 to 100 so much more consistently in college baseball right now than ever before.
All right, let's go to Bry Ganter with a $10 donation. Appreciate it. So what are y'all's thoughts on the New Mexico State canceling their season? And also, what are y'all thoughts on the WAC, Western Athletic Conference, both basketball and football?
Well, I'll answer the first one first. The thing with New Mexico State, and we've seen examples of hazing and seasons get canceled and suspended before. this is another level of hazing, and I can understand in this instance canceling the rest of the season. I can. If the allegations are true from what's being said, there's certain levels of things. And look, we see guys in college football make horrible mistakes off the field, and they don't cancel the season. But when it comes to basketball, we know the rosters are smaller, right? And the severity of this, where it involves multiple players, including the alleged victim and assailants, are both on the same team, I can understand the season being canceled. I can understand the coach being let go. This is a very, very rare situation. This is an anomaly, but sometimes drastic times call for drastic measures, and I actually agree with it.
Agreed. And the line between hazing and, well, let's just call it what it is, sexual harassment, really, which feels so weird to say. The line between those two things should not be a thin line, right? Like this, you've clearly entered a realm that is unacceptable behavior, especially for teammates.
For sure. Again, I've never really seen anything like this to this extent. It's just a very, very bad and very dark situation. You can look more into that, what's gone on there as they move through that. But I agree 100% with New Mexico State canceling the season.
All right, Jimmy the Quarter, he says, speaking of taking over sports commentary, CNC is the only sports commentary I've been able to watch and enjoy on a regular basis. Appreciate that, Jimmy.
Because it's absolute gasoline.
Jimmy, don't be afraid to change that badge either.
No, wait,
what badge does he have?
Come home.
Is it green?
Come home, Jimmy. Come home.
It's a Jake badge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Jake badge.
Hey, Jimmy,
go
you
green.
don't listen.
Come home.
This Benedict Arnold.
Come home, Jimmy.
Traitor over here.
Traitor.
That's
tough.
I'll
That's
use
tough.
strong words.
Let's go to the Trash Bandit. He says, who do you guys think will be the first team to choke in the basketball playoffs?
And you talking
We'll
about
go March Madness. We're
okay, we're going.
I know
March
mine.
Madness. The first team to choke. You're picking.
Are they orange?
How are you not saying Tennessee?
Virginia?
I thought you were not going to say Tennessee. Look, I trust. Look, Virginia. Defensively, man, it's like Tony Bennett's cracked the code. You got to be the maze runner to figure out how to score.
What are they ranked? What are they ranked? 7th?
Virginia right now is ranked.
No way.
Pulled up. They are ranked 6th. They are 21-4 overall. Purdue guys dropped down to 5th. By the way, I know we're going to get to that a little bit. Now, I would say Arizona. Arizona's the least talked about 7th-ranked team I've ever heard of ever. Now, I know it's a NATO meeting every time they play. They got guys from like Zimbabwe and Norway and Siberia and Texas. Like it just, Arizona to me, they have some nice pieces, but they're going to be, seed-wise, they're going to be up there. Maybe at worst to 3, the way it's looking right now and the way they're handling business out there in the Pac-12. But they're 24-4, but they're just not super explosive. But I'll tell you what, guys, I know we're going to get to it. Look who's at that number 1 spot. So your boy picked to win it. I'm telling you, Houston, old guards, Kelvin Sampson, legal to cheat now. It's a great situation for him. But no, I'm going to go, if we're going to talk about choking, I'm going to go Arizona because I think they get.
I like that.
Part of me wants to go Gonzaga, but guess what, guys? They're ranked 12th. They're ranked 12th. So it's in your typical top 5 Gonzaga team. They're not drinking the Kool-Aid. But if you want to drink some great Kool-Aid with some alcohol mixed in it, let me tell you about our friends over at Bartesian. Because guess what? You can basically become Tom Cruise from Cocktail. Become an at-home mixologist with the Bartesian Cocktail Maker. You get free cocktails and free shipping. And make sure you listen up. All right, grab your phone unless you're driving or operating heavy machinery. And then just wait. But grab your phone, and you get that great deal when you text CRAIN to 64,000. That's CRAIN to 64,000. If you're looking to make the perfect cocktail from the comfort of your home, you need the Bartesian. So put the cocktail shaker down, calm down, and text Crain, CRAIN, to 64,000. Now, message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. Cone, you've seen this thing in action. I got one at my crib. It's pretty simple. It's as easy as making your coffee in the morning. All right, you're pressing a button and getting your drink on. All right, whether it's vodka, whether it's whiskey, whether it's tequila. You want an old-fashioned, a margarita, or maybe you want to get weird with some ginger peach iced tea. I don't know. You just click a button, David, and you're the smartest man in the room.
Here's the Cone counter, okay, at the Cone household. The coffee maker.
Yes.
The baby bottle maker.
I thought you were going to say the baby maker. That was about to get interesting.
No, the baby bottle
That's a
maker,
different
which
place.
is, look, you want to talk about needing something ASAP to be made? You can't be waiting around 5 minutes on that thing. And then Bartesian.
There it is.
Nice. Right there.
There it is.
Mixologist.
Take it to the tailgate. Hey, you want a drink? Don't worry. I'm not fumbling around. I'm not worried about flies and all this stuff. We got a place to plug it in. What you want? Oh, guess what?
Take it
I
anywhere.
got it.
If it has an outlet, I'm taking it. Doesn't matter.
You taking it to Mardi Gras?
To Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras was good.
If you get,
Did you walk into the
I
party
didn't want to look at alcohol after Mardi Gras.
yeah, I bet.
I don't even want to look at it, but this is the way to go. I love it having it. Even if you have females over, it's quick. You don't have to sit up in the kitchen for 45 minutes pretending you know what you're doing.
Yes,
when you're making a drink. It's just
exactly right.
extremely convenient.
No, look, the Bartesian, it's the move. So text CRAIN to 6430. That's CRAIN to 64,000. I love it. All right, Coney, let's get to best and worst.
Best and worst. Who's up first?
Want me to go? I'll go.
You want to go?
Okay.
Go, Glenn.
First thing after, which a lot of things I thought I'd see this weekend in Mardi Gras. I saw a lot of things that I can't sit up here and talk about. But one thing I did not expect to see was a 6'2" white kid win the dunk contest and Max McClung.
Look,
let's really talk about it. The last guy, first of all, I thought he was the first white person to ever win a dunk contest. Apparently I was wrong. Brent Barry. I don't know if y'all have heard of old Brent.
Who's that?
Before, exactly. Apparently, he won the dunk contest in '96 or something like that.
Well, apparently, won that.
And he just dunked it. He just dunked it.
The first
and
white guy
never
to
seen
dunk
that
it
before. Yeah,
with 2 hands.
Dunked it, right? So actually, Matt McClung here just throwing out the term "the white man can't jump." This kid was jumping through the gym. Player of the league.
This could solve race relations in the United States alone by itself.
Yeah.
Let's go and play.
Yeah, run it.
I'm worried about the guy holding the other guy. At some point, he gonna go down.
I mean, look. Oh, dude,
Hit
got
the backboard.
It's all he's got.
With the ball.
It's all he's got, but it's a nice trick. Like they say, he's a one-trick pony, but it's a hell of a trick. I mean, you go off the top of the head, off
This
the
was
backboard.
nasty right here. Lincoln Park.
I mean, yeah.
Come on, man.
The man had 90K followers on Instagram. Now he has 1 million.
Yeah, look, you dunked it.
sir.
You get a lot of
So wait, now
followers.
he didn't miss a dunk.
He
right?
didn't miss one dunk.
See, now that is just as impressive as the
Huge.
dunks themselves. How many times have we seen over the course of at least the last decade, I'd say, guys taking 4 or 5 times to get a dunk down and still can't get it to
Well,
go?
the dunk contest needed this. It's been so lax the last couple years. You go back to
Why, Blaine?
Aaron Gordon,
Why?
Zach LaVine did 2016. That's the last dunk contest that really got after it. And I know the best players, the best dunkers even.
LeBron James ruined the
don't
slam
even.
dunk
Well, I feel like
contest.
there's more people than just LeBron.
No, but see, that's my thing. But they followed in his footsteps
You
because they
think?
look up to him. I do. Why isn't John Morant doing this?
That's what I was about to say.
John Morant could be out there dunking all over the place. They look up to LeBron, and they've seen him say, basically, the dunk contest isn't worth doing anymore, and so they've stayed out of it.
Okay, I agree. My worst is the Clippers and getting Russell Westbrook in their trade. Russell Westbrook's not the guy y'all think he is anymore. He's not the MVP Russell Westbrook. He's shooting at a terrible clip. He's playing terrible defense. The only reason you're going to get Russell is to push the pace. Russell can come in and ruin a roster, and the guys you have on that roster right now are extremely good. I don't think Russell comes in and helps you in any way here. In any way, there's a reason why the Lakers dealt him off. I believe the Jazz dealt him off.
Yeah, what
Now,
happened with that situation? Because it was a 3-team trade to the Jazz, right?
Yep.
And they essentially said, you can report, but we can't guarantee you minutes or anything.
Our minutes are a certain amount of money. I have to go back and look. I think it was minutes.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not surprising to me.
Okay.
It's not. Russell Westbrook's just not the same guy he was.
Gotcha.
I know, like 3 years ago, Russell Westbrook, triple-double king. For sure, but now he's just not that guy.
Well, I'm gonna get into the Russell Westbrook thing when we get into rapid fire because I like it. I think it is a great match. I think Russell Westbrook got away clean, and it was maybe the best outcome that he could have hoped for. I'm gonna get to that. But my worst is NBA All-Star Weekend. It's garbage. Guess what? Mac McClung dunking. I remember watching a show, and I'm trying to remember the name of it, where they would just have random people that go on there, and it's basically a dunk contest show. And I've watched the same thing. All right, now he didn't make all the dunks. It was cool to watch Mac McClung dunk, especially if you're kind of in my age group that watched him in high school with the mixtapes and how cool it was. But guess what? I don't want to go watch Mac McClung in the dunk contest. I want to watch John Morant and LeBron James and Giannis and the best players, all right? It's just like I don't want to watch Shaquille O'Neal in the three-point contest. All right, Mac McClung's got like 2 minutes in an NBA game. I mean, he's in the G League. All right, if the G League wants to have a dunk contest and have Mac McClung in it, that's cool. But Mac McClung can't save NBA All-Star Weekend. Ever since they ruined the dunk contest, it's trash. The game is awful. It got you. Everybody who watched the game said it was awful. We know what it's going to be. The three-point. You look at the rookie challenge. You got guys throwing up goose eggs. It has turned in to one of the coolest weekends I don't even care about it anymore, and most people don't care about it anymore. It's ruined. The only good thing about the NBA now is that we're past the All-Star break, so maybe y'all's ass will start playing a little bit of defense as we get closer to the playoffs, and we can figure out who's going to come out of the Western Conference Finals. But it's the worst, and it's sad, because I remember growing up and loving NBA All-Star Weekend because of the dunk contest and the three-point contest. But just like everything, you let the NBA touch it for long enough, and they're going to ruin it. I can't.
So
stand
you didn't enjoy.
I didn't enjoy it at all. Didn't enjoy it. Watching Mac McClung for a little bit over the whole weekend does not make up for the fact that I'm not watching the real high flyers, the Aaron Gordons, the Zach LaVines, the Ja Morants, the guys that are true high risers, diaper dandies, dipsy-doo dunkaroos, baby, in the NBA All-Star Game anymore. If I want to watch a bunch of backups play, I'll go watch the damn XFL and the USFL.
I tend to agree with you, and I didn't watch any of this live. Now, because of all the hype that Mac McClung's dunks got after the fact, I went back and watched it, and it was quite entertaining, again, to the point that he didn't miss a single one of these dunks.
It's not appointment viewing to me anymore. The dunk contest used to be appointment
Exactly,
viewing.
Which is why I think baseball is just far and away now. It used to be baseball and basketball had the two best All-Star weekends, with football always lagging behind because it was after the season. No one cared about the Pro Bowl. Now baseball, with the home run derby and the format of their game, I think is head and shoulders above, the professional All-Star experience. But on the Mac McClung thing, people were asking, did this save the dunk contest now? I mean, Blaine, how do you keep it from being just sort of a one-year phenomenon? Like, how do you repeat that next year? Is there always going to be some guy who isn't getting a lot of minutes and it just turns into sort of a backup dunk contest?
Well, this is the thing. The best players aren't the best dunkers, right? I mean, Giannis was in a dunk contest, looked terrible, right, a couple of years ago. You put LeBron and the Ja Morants, there's certain guys, but if you're in the NBA, if you don't make it incentive-based, they're not going to do it. I mean,
I'm not blaming the players, just the players. I'm talking about in general, the NBA in general. Players and the association for not coming together and figuring out some sort of system to get the best.
Yeah, if you're the NBA, you have to figure something out. Or you give them $1 million or something for these guys if you really want to come, because they're making too much money to come in and risk tearing something in a dunk contest.
Then why even play in the All-Star game? That's my thing. Why even play in?
Don't even have it. Let's have a list.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. Have a list.
To be honest with you, it's to the point now where I would not mind them having a list.
But I do think Mac McClung was a good enough dunker to be with the best dunkers in the NBA.
You make a good point about the best players aren't the best dunkers. That's fair enough. I mean, the best dunkers are the best dunkers, though. But even sometimes those guys aren't the best slam dunk competition dunkers, which I think is an important point. And, I don't know. But I'd like to see it. I'd like to see him go against Ja.
This is all Matt can do.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I when you think about it in the dunk contest, it's almost like whenever you see a really good free throw shooter on the line during a technical foul, when nobody else is on the line, it's just them and they miss it. Because it's just different. Like dunking in a game, you're going down, maybe you have to make a guy miss. It's all happening really fast and you're not really thinking, hey, I'm the only one out here. I've got all free reign to do this crazy stuff. Well, you get in the dunk contest and it's just you. Like there's nobody else. It's like sitting at that line. Like there's nobody that you're typically looking around at, or maybe shooting like a free throw when nobody else is in the gym just by yourself. It's so different. It's kind of isolated. It's like, it's almost like pitching when there's not a batter there. Like, it's just kind of a different look, and sometimes they can throw people off. That's why I think some of the guys you see, like Giannis, they can go up and, we know, climb the ladder and yam on just about anybody. May not be the greatest dunker when he's just by himself, because that's a totally different action.
So what was your best?
My best was Kansas this entire weekend. And I will use yesterday a little bit, President's Day, but especially the second half against Baylor. Baylor came out, and this is a Baylor team that continues to get better as they get healthier, looking like a true Final Four team, one of the 6 Big 12 teams that looks like they could make the Final Four. But Baylor comes in, plays really well in the first half. Kansas can't find it. Kansas is down 45-32. And then in the second half, the Jayhawks come out and outscore them 55-26. You beat them by 30 in one half, a good Baylor team. Then last night, you go on the road and beat TCU. Kansas looking like national championship Kansas now, as we're a couple of weeks away from the conference tournament with Jalen Wilson. And ain't no dick like Grady Dick the way that he's playing right now. If the KJ Adams kid can continue to be somewhat of a force down low, and Uday Jr. can just stay on the floor every now and then as a backup, not get in foul trouble and make bad decisions as a young guy, this Kansas team, because when DeJuan Harris hits like 3 3-pointers, they're like 23-0. Like, if they get any help to Jalen Wilson and Grady Dick, then they'll smash people. That's how good they are. Bill Self, again, think what you want about him off the court, but the man knows how to get a team playing at peak peak level when you get close to tournament time. So watch out for Kansas.
Bill Self said tactically this team isn't on par with last year's team yet. He said, but there's still time to go in the season. But in terms of their hunger and their fire and their passion to win, he said this team is right on par with the team that won the championship last year.
Yeah, and they're good enough
offensively. That's a
offensively.
dangerous thing for the rest of the country and the rest of the.
They're good enough offensively to start playing well, start kicking people's ass left and right.
So my best from the weekend was the tribute to Michigan State for the basketball teams, given the shooting that happened last week. Now, I'm proud that this happened, and it was not just for the men's team, but also for the women's team. I'm proud that this happened in Ann Arbor at my alma mater at the University of Michigan, but it would have been my best no matter which college campus it happened on, because I thought that this was just a phenomenal tribute to a Michigan State program that had to endure so much last week. This is a very fierce rivalry, Michigan State. We know that. Not only that, but the season is coming down to these last few games to make the tournament for some of these programs like Michigan. So I thought for them to step up and to show that some things are bigger than basketball was phenomenal. We have some of the footage here from Ann Arbor, what they did with Michigan State. But I thought that it was awesome, good on them. And, we'll see how Michigan State is able to finish this.
Well, it just goes to show you, as fierce as the rivalries are, we know there's a time and a place for everything. You know what is really, really important. It kind of reminds me a little bit between Auburn and Alabama when that tornado went through Tuscaloosa, and one of the first buses to pull up there to help clean up and do everything was the Auburn football team. Because again, while we may be rivals, we are family. We are one, United States. We are one group of people, and that's why as vitriolic as we get, as much as we want our teams to win, what makes us great is all of it together, not one subset, not one team, and it just goes to show you, knowing the importance of what the important things are, I think is the best way to put it. We know at the end of the day, this is a game, and while life is the ultimate game, it is the most important, fragile, and precious game. So it's great on Michigan.
Yep, good for them. My words from the weekend, I'm going to go with Tennessee athletics this weekend. The basketball team, obviously, look, everything they want is still right there ahead of them as we enter the SEC tournament, but the Hoops team lost to Kentucky 66-54. All right, double digit. Kentucky really controlled the game throughout. Tennessee shot 22% from three, 28% from the free throw line. 28% from the free throw line. This is the fifth SEC loss for the Tennessee Volunteers, and this now includes a clean sweep against Kentucky. I mean, usually when we say you go on the road and lose to a Kentucky basketball team, that's understandable because Kentucky is usually so good. But now you've lost at home and on the road. I think Tennessee needs to figure it out here. Maybe they're getting their losses out of the way early.
Well, again, you don't want to be playing, and sometimes the schedule beefs up. We know in conference schedules, you can catch a rack of, 2 out of 3 on the road against really tough teams. But it just seems, and I will continue to say this, and I've said this the whole season, that Tennessee does not have that dog at the end of the day that can put them on their back offensively and say, guess what? I can take us to the promised land. Vescovi, we know he can get hot, but he hasn't been that guy in crucial moments. You look at Kamwa's really come on and he's playing better, but he's not your guy. Plavich isn't your guy, even though his offensive game has gotten better. Ziegler, his shot, he's come out of nowhere to be more of an offensive threat than even what I thought he could be this year. But they don't have Josiah Jordan-James is kind of come and gone. They don't have that consistent, I'm a dog, here's what I'm going to take. It's your Brandon Miller. You're a guy that at the end of the day, buddy's going to get a shot, and it's probably going to go in.
Well, again, like I said, big one tonight. You go on the road to Texas A&M. Let's see what happens there. And then the Tennessee baseball team, 0-2 to start the baseball season, lost to Arizona 3-1, and then to Grand Canyon 4-3. Keep in mind, this baseball team at Tennessee last year started 31-1. Now, that program didn't end up making it out of the Super Regional. So again, to my point, are they just getting losses out of the way early here?
Long way to go, but after what happened last year, like you said, when you came up short with all the trash that Tony V talked and the fur coat mafia and guys doing all these things, y'all better figure out a way to get to Omaha. There's starting to be a little bit of Texas A&M football in your baseball program when it comes down to it. So you better get there. Tony V, look, I guarantee you Tennessee fans, and it's very early in the year, baseball is a very fickle sport. They would much rather start out 0-2 and make Omaha on the back end than start out 31-1 and miss Omaha.
No doubt.
Yep.
All right, Bush Club, let's go. Emmanuel C. with the $5 donation. Appreciate it, E-Man. Says, did Kellen Moore make the right decision in going to LA instead of staying at Dallas and continue to be prepped for taking the head coaching job?
Yeah, because again, get prepped for taking the head coaching job. Doesn't seem like a lot of fun right now with Jerry Jones there when you're a guy that has no cachet. You want to talk about a yes man? At least Mike McCarthy's won a Super Bowl, and he's still a yes man. Kellen Moore, old shovelface, you'd be the biggest yes man all time. What are you going to tell Jerry Jones? Sometimes it's good to get out. All right, we're going to talk about this with Eric Bieniemy here in a minute. Sometimes it's good to get out. It's a nice change of scenery, and I would much rather open up my garage and see Justin Herbert than open up my garage and see Dak Prescott. I can promise you that.
And Mike McCarthy wanted to call plays. That was clear. That was clear that was the situation that he wanted to be in. And also, what have we talked about with the Chargers? Their biggest problem. They lack an identity on the offensive side. They have great playmakers. Get Austin Eckler the ball on the screen, it's going to be a touchdown. But they sort of lack that identity to rely on in late games like we saw against the Jaguars and some other teams in the season. So I think Kellen Moore can come in and at least give that franchise, a backbone of an identity moving forward.
Yeah, it's a fresh start. So sometimes
For Breeze Brothers?
For Breeze Brothers.
Who's Your Mama wanted a little Indiana basketball update. They beat Illinois by 3. Jackson Davis ends up becoming the scoring leader. He passes Mike Woodson over the weekend, which has been Indiana going to be a team to deal with in the tournament.
Sure. Look, and Indiana with the way it ended last year, I picked them to go decently far in the tournament. They kind of let me down. I thought Trace Jackson Davis there at the end, they didn't handle business in the tournament. I think it's one of the reasons that he came back. I think it's one of the reasons that you're seeing him play with that fire. Look, right now, Indiana men's, because Indiana's women's team got a vote to be the number 1 team in the country. South Carolina isn't, unanimous anymore, which shocked me. But from the men's side, this is going to come down to the supporting cast around Trace Jackson Davis. I've watched enough of Indiana to realize, Miller Kopp, you got to play well, bud. Race Thompson, you got to shoot well at some point and keep getting those garbage points and making those effort plays, because Indiana doesn't have a super reliable big man. I'm talking about like center, 6'11". Trace Jackson Davis is an athletic guy, 4'5", swing guy. He's got the mid-range jump shot, but it's going to have to be more than Trace Jackson Davis. I love the freshman they have. I'm trying to remember how to pronounce his last name. I like him. I watched him the other day. He turned the ball over in a big situation. What does he do next possession down? Hits a mid-range jumper, says that's fine.
Is it Jalen Hood?
Yeah, Jalen Hood Shafino.
Yep.
Jalen Hood Shafino. Like that kid a lot. He's got some grittiness. Indiana has the pieces around Trace Jackson Davis where if they play, and I'm not talking about shooting 50%, or playing, just not turning the ball over. Working the ball inside out, being able to play in transition. I think Indiana has the pieces. Mike Woodson, we know, knows ball. He can set him up and put him in position, but it can't just be Trace Jackson Davis. They need help to survive, and I think they got enough talent around him to do it. But if you need help, let's say maybe the skincare game can get a little bit better. Maybe your lady's looking around and trying to find a new skincare product that can maybe take her over the edge in a good way. Not in a bad way. You need to hit up Genucel, because right now you can get Genucel's most popular package for 70% off. That's right, it's a who's who, plus a free beauty box. If you visit Genucel.com/booster, that's BOOSTER, you get 70% off when you use code BOOSTER at checkout to have it applied. That's Genucel, GENUCEL.com/booster. All right, Genucel.com/booster for 70% off. You can get a face that looks like Blaine's.
Wow.
You don't want that.
Yeah, you do.
Like Blaine's?
I'm talking about skin so soft.
Stop.
Leather so soft.
It's not. Ooh, top so soft? Did you know
softest.
about that?
Genucel, I'm telling you guys, we got to meet with these people. It was founded in a small New Jersey town as a favor to one of the pharmacy owner's customers. It's a fantastic story. Jessica, she's from Huntsville, Alabama, says, my skin looks so soft and clear. I've seen a reduced number of fine lines and dark spots. I found a new lifetime product. Absolutely love it. The Genucel product used today uses the same amount of one-of-a-kind proprietary flower-based developed by its founder all those years ago. They work for both men and women, plus they're safe for all skin types. It's Genucel.com/booster. Get your skin on, get your win on with Genucel.
I already ordered some for the wife, boys.
You love to see it. I'm going to get some.
Cones are already on top
a bag,
of it. Love to see
a
it,
Genucel beauty box bag on her. You love to see that. It's Christmas time in February.
Hey, you can't argue with that, man.
Hit me with it.
Can't argue with that. Well, you want a little rapid fire action?
Yeah, hit me with some rapid fire. Yeah, that's what it does.
There you go.
Work. Nice,
Needed that.
nice.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. wins the Daytona 500, boys. Our boy Chase Elliott, man, we still love you back there. Well, he got involved in that first pileup.
It wasn't Chase's fault.
No.
That guy behind him just drives like a madman. Look, I watched this whole race. First race I've sat down and watched.
You watched the whole race? Every lap?
Went over to Rhinos, met Papa Todd.
Yeah.
Great guy.
I just decided to have the coolest weekend when I'm not here.
Yeah. Well,
should've
Blaine
stayed
wasn't
in town.
there. It was
Selfish.
great. Everybody was happy.
Yeah, selfish.
Nobody was there selfish. It was a great time. Now, look, it was a really good race, a really long race. Clean for the most part until the end. You know, you had a couple cautions. You had that wreck early that took out Chase Elliott, who I had picked, which, hold on, puke real quick. But, for the most part, it was clean until the end. And then I had put some money on Joey Logano.
You did late?
I had some money on. No, like before the race, I put money on Chase Elliott, Joey Logano. Reed picked somebody, put a little on Ryan, and then Papa Todd put some on Denny Hamlin. But no, look, Ricky Stenhouse fluked his way through it. I don't care what anybody says. You got lucky.
He started 31.
You got
He started 31st
lucky. Joey Logano sitting there leading because the way it ended, that last wreck, right when they brought the caution, that's how it ended.
No, that was interesting.
Which I'm not a fan of. I feel like the last two should have to race a couple laps around the track just themselves.
At least they don't end under caution. That's my thing with Formula One.
Yeah.
Like, ending under caution, no one wants to see that. So the green, white, checkered, overtime rules, I'm more in favor of for sure. So the first one they had a pile. I really thought down the stretch, those last 15 laps or so, I thought Brad Keselowski was going to walk away.
Well, Brad was leading for a while, and then Busch hopped.
But then
up there.
in the overtime, I was like, all right, this is Kyle Busch's race. Kyle Busch is going to win this race now in the overtime. But again, the first couple cars overtook him. That led to the pileup in the first overtime. And then I guess in the second one, they had already hit that white flag.
Well, for a while down at the end, I was looking at Kyle Larson. That's who Reed bet on to win it. Larson in the 5 car was just hanging in there at 3 or 4 late, and you could see him start to make that move on the inside when it opened up. But man, I tell you what, I want to go to one of these races so bad.
Let's go.
I want to go so bad.
I didn't go to it, but I've
never been to
Daytona. I didn't go to the race.
Daytona.
No, I want to go to the
Wild.
race, and I want to sit in the infield and just crack some cold sodas and watch him just go around.
Then he goes to a Waffle House.
Yeah,
What a
Ricky
champion.
Stenhouse, anybody who takes the trophy to Waffle House after, I believe
I believe him
I believe in
forever.
him.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I mean, Gus Malzahn used to go.
I wonder what he got. Was the All-Star
I don't know
special?
how much I believe
Was
in
it
it.
the
Did he take a
All-Star
trophy?
No, because
Did he take a trophy?
Yeah, he didn't ever win a trophy.
My point
Yeah.
exactly.
He didn't have a trophy to take. He just picked his nose and moved salt.
I hope he got an All-Star
Take it around.
special.
Oh, you think you took a trophy in there and didn't get an All-Star?
Come on now.
Come on, man.
What's your Waffle House order?
Oh, it's the All-Star.
All-Star,
It's the
yeah.
All-Star special.
How are you getting those hash browns?
Hash browns, double order, crispy. Double order,
On the
crispy.
same
I like I'm
cheese?
going into
Don't
Waffle House
cheese
and
on
getting
them
this thing.
hashies?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I get mine.
But if they put them on, I wouldn't take them off.
Okay.
Let's put it that
Respectable.
way. Double order, crispy, egg scrambled, waffle either plain or put in some chocolate chips.
I like that.
We'll get mad about it.
Okay. Don't mind that, David. Lower your heads up.
So mine, it's All-Star special. I want my smash browns smothered, covered, blothered, bloviated, chopped, slopped, stabbed, kicked, smicked, and
Don't kick them. Don't
Good
kick
God.
them.
At that point, you're just jumping them.
We used to go at
I ain't been to the Awful
Yes,
Waffle
sir.
in a while,
The
man.
College Football Hall of Fame, the Waffle House.
Yeah,
right
you
there.
remember that?
Ooh,
That
You go over there,
that
trying to
food
get
didn't
us
last
stuff
long
going?
in that plate, man.
that used to be the spot.
And I tell you, I do not miss driving to downtown Atlanta to go work anymore.
That place is a war zone now.
Man.
Dude, I felt like I was in Black Hawk Down.
Sound like Brad Pitt.
That's only because the
felt like-
College Football Hall of
yeah.
Fame secretly has an.
I felt like that Brad
underground-
Pitt in that Tank movie.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's what? Dave.
What?
Is that
With
one
Shia
That is
LaBeouf?
wild.
You
That
haven't seen
one
the
Dude.
with Shia LaBeouf?
Yes.
Guys, I just watched the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy this weekend. Not for the first time, but there was a lot of
little
stuff I didn't
refresh.
remember.
A lot of time in
Little
between. You kinda
refresh.
forgot
Give me a
stuff.
day off. I'll polish
There's
off
nothing
the
like a
trilogy.
Lord of the
refresh.
Rings weekend.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Let's talk about the actual competition in the Genesis Invitational. John Rahm.
Dude's
Yeah.
balling.
John Rahm, 3 wins already this
Rectangle
season. Like
face.
first What do you call him?
Rectangle face. Look at him.
Well, he looks like those things off Mario, like the things that come down and smash the ground.
What are you,
You know what I'm saying? You ever played Mario? That's
Mario.
I'll pull it up.
He looks like a winner.
No,
He is a
look.
winner.
John Rahm, absolute cash machine. Like this. You know, again, he's watching him. Like you talk about a guy that I feel like can play from any lie. Like if you watch John Rahm, like he'll hit great shots out of the fairway. He'll hit like he could hit that shot off that monster's foot from Happy Gilmore if he had to.
Yeah.
Like it's just John Rahm, I feel like, can play like scramble golf and find a way, but he can also go out there and just be like pew, 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 pew. And that's what he was this weekend. These guys are so good. And what's crazy is I make the parallel to NASCAR and golf. Like you don't realize when you're watching NASCAR how like steep the gradient is on the track, like up to the top. It's kind of like that in golf. Like you look at the fairways and you're like, oh, well, that looks, kind of flat. And then you go out there and actually see the course and it looks like, like the movie Tremors, like where the earth has just been raised up and put down. It's just absolute craziness. If you haven't been to one of these tournaments, like these legitimate golf tournaments, and seen like some of the angles and how steep these fairways are, it's incredible to watch these guys hit the ball off some of the lies and the angles. The geometry's crazy.
Man, I can't wait for the springtime. Masters
Me
is
either.
going to be crazy.
I'm going to go out there and hit a bunch in the woods.
Yeah. All right. XFL. Do you guys watch any XFL?
I did.
A little bit.
What'd you think? What'd you think?
Here is my take on the XFL and the USFL. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. All right? It's like my take on sodas. I like Diet Coke. I like it. But it's not Coca-Cola. Okay? It was fun watching you. You can score 15 points in like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
The 4th and 15 onside kick, the three-point play. I love it. I love it. It's a great alternative. I enjoyed it. Okay? But when it comes down to it, still not Coca-Cola. It's Diet Coke. It's good. Maybe throw some lemon in there. You want three-point play? Let's squeeze a little lemon in there. Diet Coke with lemon. Okay? Maybe a little Diet Vanilla Coke. Get a little weird with it. But it's still not Coke. It's like that Impossible meat, right? For the people that don't eat real meat out there, like Reed, it's like, man, I took a bite of it. It's like, okay, it's not horrible. I don't hate it. I don't wish evil upon it or it to fold, like I know it's gonna eventually. But it's not a Whopper, man. Not a Big Mac. It's not a real burger. Like I can't get as excited about it. I get a little bit excited, especially if I'm super duper hungry, which I am when it comes down to football already after missing the Super Bowl. But I can't just go in there and devour it. I got to take a bite, flip around. It's nice.
Your thoughts?
I enjoyed watching it. Obviously, it's not going to be as good as the NFL because the players aren't as good. And there's not some magic thing or magic formula.
The players aren't as good in college, though, either. So is that...
Well, true, but college just is so embedded differently. I think it's just so ingrained. And
I don't know. I feel like Georgia could beat a couple of those.
To me, at least, I bet Georgia would pay them.
Yeah, but they couldn't beat an NFL team.
Oh, hell no.
Like, I prefer college football to professional football, even though we're not watching the best in the world do it. So that's kind of.
But the atmosphere behind college football just forever has been so much different.
Some parallel.
As to XFL. But you can try to come out with anything you want to. It's just not going to hit the same. It's just not. But I'll never complain about watching football.
Okay, so that's my question there. I mean, obviously, the three of us, we love football.
Yeah.
And there's no sport I associate with a season more than football in the fall. So I understand the need here to play in the springtime and not compete against what you're saying is, they are the best football players in the world in the NFL. So you want to pick a different time of year. Is there an aspect to this where you guys are saying, I love football so much, I want to see it year round, so this is great and I'll watch it? Or is this a situation where it's like football is so special because we have an off season and that then makes you hungry to enter the fall to watch football?
Well, here's the thing. If it was a Game of Thrones situation with House of Dragon, which I know you're not making any more Game of Thrones, and this is all I had, then I'd get excited about it, right? If the NFL calls hey, we're not playing this year, but y'all can watch, y'all enjoy y'all's XFL and USFL, I'd be much more excited about it. But I know the NFL and college football is coming back. I know exactly when it's coming back. So, again, I like having it. I don't dislike having it. I don't think it's taking away from the sport of football. I like that it's giving opportunities for other guys to play. I like that aspect. I like being able to say, you know what? Wow, man, it's February 19th. All right, Super Bowl's over, but I can still click on and watch football if I want to, if maybe a couple huge college basketball games aren't on, or they're in something else that kind of piques my... I like having options, right? That's why when we go out to eat, I like an appetizer. And then I like getting an entree. And then I may get dessert. I like having options. I like to explore all the options. That doesn't mean I love it as much as when it's like in season, but I don't want to eliminate it, and I don't think it takes away anything. So I'm glad it's there. I'm glad it's there in the periphery, and I hope it works. I hope it works so these guys can keep getting money to play football, and because I know how many opportunities that it gives. I'm fine with it, but I will never fall in love with it because that next season's coming up.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. It's a great opportunity for guys to play professional football who aren't in the NFL. And not just players, coaches too.
Yep.
That was one of the things about the USFL last season that I thought was great. They have top-tier coaches out there. Mm-hmm. Coaches who understand they can use some of these gimmicks like going for three when they need to, but they don't in situations where they understand it's not the best strategy to win the football game.
And if you're the NFL, you can kind of see, what kind of works and doesn't work, like going for three, certain rule changes that people don't like.
Ground for rule changes.
It's almost a test. That's what
yes.
it is.
Yeah, and not just for the rule changes, but for maybe players. Maybe you look at it as, you remember like He Hate Me and some of these people that came to the old XFL.
A.J. McCarron played this weekend?
You can kind of use it as, hey, look, man, we need a backup quarterback or something like this guy can still do it. Or maybe somebody comes out of nowhere that like we see that happens at the Senior Bowl and then bursts on the scene in the NFL. Maybe they just go through it a different route. So I think this could do nobody is leaving the NFL for the XFL or the USFL, in my opinion.
No.
You may have a couple people politically that say, I'm so sick of the NFL, I'll just watch this. But deep down, let's not act like you're not flipping on that screen Sunday.
I think only one will last. I think the USFL or the XFL, one of them can become sort of the spring football sport. Obviously, they're two different networks. You got classic ESPN versus Fox situation, so let's see how that plays out. One criticism I saw was, the XFL didn't use any like gimmicks like the USFL did last year with like camera angles and drones and stuff. I actually really liked that stuff. I liked the ability to see drone angles during the game. I didn't think about it as a gimmick. It was like another value add. And then also to be able to like hear a play call or something I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I think there's like a middle ground and a balancing act to being too far on the fringe of doing crazy stuff and keeping it to where it's somewhat semblance of what you're used to watching, and then doing enough that's new to perk up new interest and maybe involve new listeners. I think there's like a very fine balance there before you go like overboard. Like old XFL was overboard to me.
Yeah.
Like you were just doing crazy things, allowing crazy things to
arena
happen.
Football.
Like to me, I feel like there is a fine line where it looks very similar to the game that you love to keep you watching, but there are enough new things to bring in new audience members and keep it fresh. I think there's a fine balance there.
All right, next one here. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver says officials are absolutely held accountable for their errors. This comes after that missed call at the end against LeBron James a couple weeks ago.
Like, I don't know what they're expecting, like, the commissioners to say, though. Like, Roger Goodell came out the other day and said, these refs are better than they've ever been before. Name a commissioner that has ever come out in the history of time and been like, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. These refs are garbage. Like, this past year, our officiating was horrible. You were right, fans. They're horrible. They're never going to say it. They're never, ever, ever going to say it. And I know that some referees at high levels get paid pretty well. But here's how you fix this, all right? Here's how you fix it. Because I know they're afraid because refereeing is not a full-time job. Some people say during the year it's a full-time job. Well, that's not what a full-time job is. A full-time job is full-time. You're doing this. There's not an off-season or a dark period. You're not going back and selling insurance, in your hometown of Paducah, Kentucky when you get done reffing game 6 of the finals. It needs to be a year-round, full-time job with benefits and a true salary that pays them well, and you have accountability. Now, during the offseason, what do? You train. You invigorate the farm system to where you're bringing in younger referees and teaching them, like, normal stuff you do during the offseason, watching film, getting better. But now, guess what? Full-time job, you can have fines. You can have accountability. I think right now they're so worried the guys aren't going to come back. Like if Adam Silver came out and was like, you know what? You guys are right. NBA officials, woo, terrible, the worst. We're going to fire all of them. They're worried these guys are going to come back because it's not a job where people are just coming in droves to do it.
Look, it's a full-time job when they're at the job.
That's exactly right. But it needs to be a full-time year-round job, not a part-time, full-time job. Let's have some accountability. They're not coal miners or single mothers. Let's make them full-time, and let's handle it like that.
I'm like, well, I just don't listen to people who are in bed with China. So that's the last person I'll listen to about
Adam Silver?
Yeah.
Get out of bed with China.
I think he's an alien.
He'll grow. He is probably an alien.
His feet
who
probably
really
hit the
knows?
floor when he's laying in bed.
Well, no, if LeBron can't get a call, that's how you know you're in bad waters. That's how you know. Y'all can't give this man a call. Y'all been giving this man calls for years. Yeah. And the one blatant call, like, it's just, I don't get it.
It wasn't that blatant.
I mean, but you can review it.
Bang, bang.
Right?
What, is it reviewable?
In the last 2 minutes in the NBA, it's, hey, let's go ahead and take a peek at that, right?
Oh.
But no, the one time you can review, you don't, because you're just scared to be wrong. You're just so scared to be wrong. No one will come out and apologize. Adam Silver will get up there and not blink for 7 minutes and freak everybody out. And then you expect me to give a right explanation. The refs aren't good in any sports. I think the best, umps or refs you want to say right now is a handful in baseball.
Yeah.
And they're usually
Remember the
behind
umpire
the
was
plate
for the
guys.
World Series. He's like a robot person. He's like, yamp strike. Yamp
I
ball.
wouldn't be surprised after the Super Bowl if the head ref asked for Patrick Mahomes' jersey. Hey, will you sign this for me, please? Love you.
All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about with Russell Westbrook, college baseball opening, or college basketball top 25?
Yeah, the Russell Westbrook thing, here's why. Like here's why I think it'll work with the Clippers. Like, number one, you get out of L.A., you're in fourth in the West now. Congratulations.
Well, you stay in L.A., but...
Well, yeah, I'm talking about like the Lakers. You get out of that absolute, just dysfunctional pool of dysfunction junction over there. And guess what? Paul George can score off the ball. Kawhi can score off the ball. Russell Westbrook take the ball up the court every time if he wants. And it'll work better than what they had at the Lakers. LeBron has to have the ball. You had two ball-dominant people at the Lakers. Russell Westbrook is not an off-the-ball scorer. Now, guess what? Russell Westbrook take the ball off the court. Kawhi can play off the ball. Paul George can play off the ball. Do their thing, and I think it's going to work a lot better. Now, I know they have point guards on the roster, and I'm not saying Russell needs to be the main point guard, but this fits what Russell Westbrook does a lot better than what they were asking him to do for the Lakers. Just not good off the ball. I don't know another way to put it.
Well, they're fourth in the West right now. So, I mean, what do you think?
You didn't get any better.
You didn't get better.
I still think LeBron James can score off the ball. Man, there's people on the Lakers who can score. Hold on.
Yes, LeBron James
who can score off the ball. Paul George, he's a ball-dominant guy. Kawhi Leonard, he's a ball-dominant guy. You have to put the ball in Kawhi's hands. Kawhi's not going to be running all over the court. He's going to play defense and dominate the ball. If Russell was the old Russell, setting pace, really good in the finishing in the paint, dunking like it was, shooting like it was, he's shooting at a terrible clip, the worst in his career the last couple of years. I just don't think, because you made this to do what? Push yourselves in the playoffs, right? This is why you made this trade. I don't think he's going to help you. I think he's going to hurt you at the end of the day. He will make terrible mistakes at the worst times, from forcing shots to forcing turnovers. He's just not the same guy.
Well, I think, again, when I talk about ball dominant, what I'm saying is that Russell Westbrook can't do anything else but be ball dominant. Like, LeBron can play off the ball and be great. Kawhi Leonard can play off the ball and be great. Paul George can play off the ball and be great. Go look at their careers. Kawhi is not bringing the ball up for the Spurs every time when he's out there balling. Kawhi hasn't been the guy that's bringing the ball. Now, when you get the ball down the court and you kick it to him in the corner and he's one-on-one, or you give it to him after a couple passes, that's not what I'm talking about. Russell Westbrook has to be the guy that brings the ball past that half-court line to be able to operate where we saw all those triple-doubles. Like, being a ball-dominant guy only is one thing. Having the ability to be ball-dominant is another thing. Russell Westbrook cannot score off the ball. That's my main thing. Like, this is a better fit because LeBron needs to dominate the ball. He's one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player of all time. He needs to be ball dominant. When you watch, when the Heat were cooking, what was happening? All right? D-Wade was playing off the ball a lot, and LeBron was bringing the ball off the court when it came down to it in the finals, and you had Chris Bosh down low. So I don't want people to think I'm saying that you're just like Kawhi's just ball dominant and that's it, or LeBron's just ball dominant and that's it. Russell Westbrook, however, is just ball dominant. He's either ball dominant or in transition. Those are the two places where Russell Westbrook has success in his career. He'll never be a great shooter because he's never been a great shooter.
Well, at the Rockets, he was a great shooter, and James Harden was the ball-dominant guy for that team. That's when he was putting up the most stats for the Rockets.
So for 1 year, but if you go back and look at when he was with the Thunder, when basically his whole career, because again, it's just like pitchers. Sometimes you throw more strikes in a year than you do in other years. It just happens. But overall, through the course of his career, what Russell Westbrook will never be an off-the-ball, space-creating scorer, shooter extraordinary.
But right now, he's bad with the ball.
Yeah, well, it's Russell Westbrook's way past his prime, but at least in this spot, it gives him a chance to operate where he's best at.
And at the end of the day, LeBron James brought him in to the Lakers.
Yeah.
True.
Like, that's who had the final say
Yeah.
in who he wanted to play with. All right, last two here for NFL update. Eric Bieniemy does become the Washington Commanders offensive coordinator and assistant head coach. You know, I hate the situation that he felt the need to leave to go take an offensive coordinator job elsewhere. I don't think it's a good job. But if he goes and shines there, then he is going to be able to get out from under Andy Reid's wing.
So we have to say what is shining with that personnel, like, because you are going from having a Maserati to
make
a Pinto,
them better,
make them
better than they are. I guess.
So, like, here's why it worries me, David, because you could have stayed at Kansas City and taken over when Andy Reid shut it down, because I don't think he's too many years removed away from shutting it down. You'd have Patrick Mahomes still, who was young, who we all know you had a very average skill group around him and still won the Super Bowl this year. Now, you are almost taking it out of your hands. As much as you are the offensive coordinator in the Commanders, your personnel isn't very good. Let's just look. McLaurin's nice. Jahan Dotson, love the kid coming out of Penn State. He's going to be a player. Who you got at quarterback right now? Who you got? So you're going to stay with Taylor Heineke. You're not going to play Carson Wentz. There's no way in hell you do that again. So I mean, Taylor Heineke. I mean, is that the answer? Are you going to try and move up and go get a quarterback, and you're going to play with the rookie at quarterback? Eric Bieniemy,
Sam Howell.
all that, and Sam Howell, who's proven absolutely nothing. You know, I would rather play Taylor Heineke than Sam Howell right now, the way it looks. But you're going to a place now where, guess what? If it goes south, and I'm talking about in year one, you know what they're going to say? It was Andy Reid. We knew it was Andy Reid. Eric Bieniemy was just grifting off Andy Reid. It had nothing to do with Eric Bieniemy, which we know is not the truth. We had Chad Henne on here, and he explained it to us, did a really good job. Now, if you go there and have success, okay, and you make them a little bit better, is that good enough to go get you another job? Is that going to just blow the door? Because I'm going to tell you something. You're not winning next year in Washington. You're not winning. I'm going to go into Eric Bieniemy. I hope he did not make this move because he bought into what people like Stephen A. Smith were saying. I just hope he didn't go against the way it had been. And I came on and said, sometimes it's good to go to a different place. But guess what? Like Kirby Smart, right? Well, guess where Kirby went? His ass went to Georgia. Washington ain't the Georgia of the NFL. If you'd have been able to go to the Chargers or something like that, like Kellen Moore, okay, I get it. Cowboys, Mike McCarthy says, I need to take, I don't want to call the plays. Let's bring in somebody. I get that. You went to the Commanders. You went to a place that has sorry-ass personnel on offense, and they're going to blame you. They are going to blame you when this doesn't work. And I think, and I hate to say this, I think Eric Bieniemy just screwed himself. I think he did. My opinion.
I just feel like something's missing when it comes to this, because I understand why. Something has to be in the work with the Redskins to, you're going to be the head coach. Once he's if not, or something happened with the Chiefs.
It was a raise, a title promotion, all sorts of
I've
things.
seen this movie before.
But still, the OC,
Jake's not
correct?
wrong about the personnel situation. It's going to be a lot harder to win there than it was with Kansas
Yeah, you think they're going to make you
Obviously,
head coach if the offense just tanks this first year and Ron Rivera gets fired? You think they're just going to make you the head coach after they brought you in to fix the offense and now it doesn't work because you didn't have a car that was fast enough?
Well, I feel like it's just the quarterback position. That's what's killing you right now.
Yeah.
You have some good talent. Especially young talent. Defensive line. Hell, you're basically all Alabama and Georgia on offense. But you got Brian Robinson, who got shot and came back 2 weeks later. You got Curtis Samuel. You got Terry McLaurin. You have good pieces. Jahan Dotson. Offensive line, somewhat questionable, but you can always, that's what the draft's for, to pick up a couple guys there. But this is a quarterbacks ran league. This is what it is. The guys who take you over the top is the quarterback, and you just came from the one who's probably the best we're going to see ever. So I just don't understand. If he wasn't in line for the Chiefs job, then I get it.
There's no way.
Then I understand you got to get out of there. But why would you take this? Because now you're almost in a lose-lose situation. Because even if you win, 8 games. You're lucky if you win 8 games. If you're the Redskins, I mean, you're going to look okay, but you're not going to look. It's just a downgrade. You downgraded yourself.
Yeah, I
that's why
I just hope it wasn't a situation where he so desperately wanted just any NFL head coaching job and thought, I can't get a head coaching job as long as I'm still the offensive coordinator under Andy Reid, which to me is not fair. I mean, we saw Matt Nagy get a head coaching job at the Bears after being the OC.
I just watched Shane Steichen get the head job at the Colts for being the OC under Nick Sirianni. Like this, the thought process of, oh no, I'm under a genius on my side of the ball means I'll never get a head coaching job is exactly the opposite of the way that coaching has worked since it was invented. People want to hire people that worked under the greatest. They want to hire Nick Saban that worked under Bill Belichick, that worked under Bill Parcells, that worked under Shula. Like, this is how this works. This is the whole coaching tree works. Now, all of a sudden, it's ass backwards because Eric Bieniemy hasn't gotten a job because he either hasn't interviewed well or something else has happened. I just feel like we're totally flipping the way the profession has worked, or any profession in general. You know what? If I'm starting a bakery and I don't know how to make a bunch of bread, you know who I'm probably going to hire? The guy who's working underneath the guy who knows how to make all the damn bread. Like, that's just the way the world works. It absolutely shocks me. But, you know, again, everything's upside down, especially Stranger Things right now when I walk outside.
All right, last one. Rex Ryan interviewed for the Broncos defensive coordinator position. He's been on ESPN for the last few seasons. Will this be a good move?
Yeah, look, again, the Broncos, and I'll come back and say it, Sean Payton took this job because he had all the leverage and they threw the bag at him. But the Broncos do, defensive-wise, I mean, if you're Rex Ryan, you're walking into a pretty good situation with what you have on the defensive side of the ball. If Russell Wilson on the offensive side of the ball treats last year like an anomaly and turns back to old school Russell Wilson, the Broncos can actually do some things. But look, Rex Ryan, he's been out of it for a little bit. You know he's been missing it. He's a guy as a coordinator who I think would be a great hire. I think he'd be a fantastic hire, and he has pieces to be able to maneuver and manipulate. I like the relationship between him and losing my mind. I like the relationship between him and Sean Payton as well. I think that's a good kind of football meshing of the mind. So yeah, nothing would surprise me. I mean, you had a ton of a movement when you look at in the coaching world. I do got to give a shout out though to somebody, a family friend of ours, Mark Rose, who knew my dad really, really well. Derek Ansley, who just took over for the Chargers on the defensive side, was a player for him at Tallahassee, coached at Tennessee, a bunch of different places, was with Gruden and the Raiders, and now has worked his way up. So I want to give a shout out to Coach Mark Rose and Derek for getting that big-time job. Mark's a hell of a guy, so I want to make sure I got that in there. And I want to make sure I tell our buddy Eli Votal, I think I said that right. He sent in a bunch of bobbleheads, which we're going to put all over the studio. We got a Vin Scully one, Manny Machado, Raul Mondesi, Fernando Valenzuela, Phil Knight. Look, we got, you want to send something to the show? We'll put it up in the studio. Oh, boy, dropped a bag on us of bobbleheads. We got our Hugh Freeze bobblehead. It's a bobblehead world around here.
I love it.
So shout out
Patrick
Eli.
Mahomes.
Thank you, my friend. Patrick Mahomes as well, yeah. Eli, we really appreciate it.
All right, Butcher Club?
Yes.
Let's get into it. All right, who's your mama? I thought this was funny. She said, God, you said ball dominant and transition. Way to go, Wogue.
Yeah. You ever had a ball dominant transition? We'll talk about that on the next show.
Wogue. Let's go to Matty Ice 94. He said, yeah, when they said Eric was being looked at for the OC positions, I thought that was too because he was one of the best OCs around, so it's head coach or bust. So, I mean, I agree. That's
look, again, but I also think, like I said, if you went to be the OC at the Cowboys or the Chargers or somewhere other than the Commanders, the Redskins, whatever the hell you want to call them, okay, I get that. But you're going to go be the OC. I don't care if they promise you all of King Midas's gold in Washington. If y'all go in there and flop this next year, which is a very high possibility, they're not hiring you as the next head coach. Because what happened? They fired Ron Rivera and they bring in a different head coach. What do you think? He's going to whisper the same promises in your ear? No, it better work. Your whole career, as crazy as it sounds, is about to come down to this. And I wouldn't be shocked if Eric Bieniemy is a head coach in college in the next 3 years. Do not be shocked.
Really? All right, let's go to Isaiah Crandell. Has been watching you guys since joining Daily Wire. Got me back into watching sports. He says, how about my Grand Canyon Lopes beating the Mighty Vols on the Diamond this weekend? Hey, Grand Canyon is not just a walk in the park over here.
No, look, it takes you a while to get through
walk in the canyon.
It's a walk in the canyon. Look, Grand Canyon, I see you guys commercials all the time. Y'all got some witches in basketball, too. I've seen it. And the baseball team taking it to the Fighting Cercios up there in Knoxville.
Love that.
Smoke a cigar for that one.
Let's go to Texas Ed. Hashtag Ask Crain and Company. He says, who was/is your favorite sports play-by-play announcer?
Tim Brando.
Mine was John Madden.
I like Mike Tirico.
Timmy B.
Huh? You like Mike?
You talking about the play-by-play or the color commentator? He said play-by-play.
Well, we don't have to bring race into this. No.
Yeah.
It's two different things.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. All right, let's go to JMJ Pray For Us wants to know, Cone, what is the current book that you are reading?
The current book that I am reading, I'm reading...
The Cat in the Hat.
I was reading Spencer Clavin's new book.
Yes, How to
Save the West.
How to Save the West,
something
yes,
like that.
fantastic stuff.
Yep, and...
There's like 9 words I can understand in it, but those 9 I've understood.
There you go.
Stuff.
I love it. I have like 3 books open right now. I'm starting to
Wow, look at
jumble
you.
together.
Speak different languages, the most interesting man.
I checked my phone earlier today.
There you go.
I do the books on tape. All right, I like my books to be read to me. Just like it was when I was a child.
Good for you.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Motorman213. He says, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning to you, sir. You are looking extra jacked and tan after a long weekend. Appreciate that. Pretty hot in Mobiles in the 80s. Any concern over Michigan softball after getting killed by Oklahoma? I don't think you should ever be concerned after getting drilled by Oklahoma.
Yes, look, they need to damn drug test Oklahoma softball team for, high-grade beaver tranquilizers like Scout Troop 419 and dodgeball because, look, it's every year. You talk about tanks.
Yeah.
I saw one girl in Oklahoma's got legs. Looks like she could squat about 800 pounds. I'm telling you.
Softball's fun to watch, man.
Patty Gasso, I think's her name over there. Got them gassed up.
Let's go to Proud Scooter Mom.
Yeah.
Check this. She says, will you be checking out the United Scooter Association comp/qualifiers in Orlando right now?
Association?
It's this weekend. My son's competing. Had to give him the shout out. I held my breath every time he flies off a ramp.
Hold on. I got to see.
We'll look into this.
Like, are we talking Razor Scooter?
I think so. Is there not? I mean,
United Scooter
the
in
USAA.
Orlando. Yeah, in Orlando.
The USA, the Dodgeball Association of America. By the way, we need to start doing like an obscure sports update thing. We need to start doing that. Let's look up the Scooter Association as I walk over to the Board of Education. And hey, Illinois, Minnesota, why can't we hit the under?
United Scooter Association.
Tell your son I said good luck.
Yeah, tell your son we said good luck.
Shred it, bro.
Officially recognized as the national governing body of scootering.
No way.
Let's go.
Is it Razor?
Look, you don't know pain unless you took a Razor scooter off the shin.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't...
You don't know real pain.
You want to know how we get answers from terrorists?
Just throw scooters at their shin.
That's how.
it.
Razor scooter to the shin.
That's really
the most painful thing of all time. I think that was invented in Vietnam.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah. All right, here's what I got tonight. After yesterday, we're not talking about it. Pittsburgh at home against Georgia Tech. I watched Georgia Tech struggle with Florida Tech, a school I didn't know existed that I've also created on NCAA 14. I'm going to take a -11 at home against the Yellow Jackets. That's at -110. And then Miami on the road at Virginia Tech. Big one, but I like Wong. I like Nigel Pack. I think Miami is a sneaky Final Four team if their undersized bigs can just play good and keep it steady. So give me Miami +2 on the road at the Hokies. That is -110. Cone!
Kansas State +2. Give me the points -110 at home tonight. And then I'm going to take Texas A&M.
I like this bet.
Hosting Tennessee, money line +100. That line moved like 30 seconds after.
Yeah, so before we picked these before the show, you caught it at +100. We opened the app up again, and Blaine, you took...
It's moving fast.
Yeah, you took Tennessee and got them at +100.
Yeah, so give me Tennessee money line +100. I think it's a bounce back day for the Vols after that performance against Kentucky. And give me Miami. Look, I know you're on the road dogs. I believe it's Virginia Tech.
Yes.
They're going against, but I don't think anything can go wrong. All right.
Nicely done there. Baby Cone.
Sir.
He's going to take Mississippi State +4.5. I want to say they're on the road at Arkansas, but that sounds
I thought it was
wrong.
Missouri.
To me, it is Missouri.
Who is it?
You're
Yeah,
right.
it's Mizzou.
Mississippi State +4.5 at Mizzou. Kobe Brown really needs to step up for Mizzou. And then you're taking Miami money line as well. So Blaine's taking Miami money line. Baby Cone's taking Miami money line. I'm taking Miami +2. I mean, it's a lot of belief right now in Miami tonight, guys. Giants, help us God. We all know.
And Iowa State's at Texas tonight.
Yeah,
Indiana's at Michigan State tonight.
Really good matchups
Marquette's at Creighton.
Big
Baylor
basketball, baby. By the way, Georgetown beat Butler this weekend. You see that?
Snapped a 22-game.
Yeah, I cannot
road
believe
losing.
that. They also snapped my 14 parlay that would have hit. So, geez, Butler, answer the door and get the hell out of the way.
All right, here's a question to piss everybody off. Mike RFF Lifestyle, start, bench, cut, ice cream, pizza, and wings.
Why do you
on,
ask?
man.
What kind of a horrible?
Come on.
Like, what are you trying to do? I mean, you said pizza, ice cream, and wings.
Yes.
I mean, I'm playing wings. I'm benching pizza, and I'm sorry, I'm kicking ice cream out.
Yeah, look, I got to start pizza. I mean,
Yeah,
it's pizza.
that's understandable.
Wings, I'm gonna keep on the bench, and I'm gonna cut ice cream just because there are a lot of great desserts.
Yeah,
There are a lot of great desserts that you can turn to.
I gotta have wings and pizza.
Yeah,
Like I'm gonna eat dinner a lot more times than I'm gonna eat dessert.
that one was brutal, Mike.
That was Mike. I don't. That's kind of a little evil if you're gonna ask me.
All right, y'all want to get to this poll?
Sure.
Was Tiger Woods in the wrong for apologizing? Yes.
I'm gonna say
or
yes,
no?
55%.
No, 55%. He was not in the Wong.
All right, it was. Yes, 14%.
Whoa.
No, 86%.
A lot of Tiger Woods.
Yeah, you love it when the Booster Club comes out and chooses violence.
Wait. So the Booster Club's saying that he should not have apologized.
Exactly.
Okay, good. I was about to say, wow.
What did? He was in the.
Was he in the wrong for apologizing?
Oh, I thought you meant in the wrong for what
Yeah,
he
you
did.
made that unclear.
Yeah, that was
wrong
the way you
for what he
explained that.
did, and I said no, right?
Yeah.
And what did the Booster Club say?
No.
But he's not wrong.
No, wrong for apologizing. Not what he did, but for apologizing. I thought I said that. Did I not say that?
Maybe you did.
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll go.
There was a poll. There was a poll last week after our Riley Gaines interview that we didn't get to. I think it was.
Do you remember it?
It was should men play against women in sports? And I saw like some Booster Club members were saying, "Oh, let's make this the first unanimous poll ever." But was it 100%? Do you remember?
Oh no, nobody would let that happen.
No,
Well-
I think there was 4%.
Okay, I was going to say Media
That's-
Matters is in there.
There's
somewhere
trolls in there
watching.
for sure.
Yeah,
for
okay.
sure. Let me. I want to get this off my chest. There's a couple more minutes.
Here we
left
go.
on this show.
What you got for us, man?
Look, man.
It's a trust
every morning I go to it's a trust tree. Let's be honest. It's honesty hour. So I go stop by. I'm a very routine person.
Mhm.
Okay, I stop by a gas station very early in the morning, each morning.
Every day.
Pretty much every day. And there's a person that works in there, and I can't stand the way our conversations go, because it's this white guy that's dressed up like kind of hippie, gangster rapish, and can I just tell you how the conversation goes? I just
Tell
need to
me.
get so much. So I walk in there, and of course it's
Who do you want me
early.
to be? Do you want me
I'm
to
like,
be
no,
Jake?
you just
I could be you.
you be you.
Okay.
You be you. So like it's really early, nobody else is in there. So I walk in there and he'd be like, "Hey Brody, what's up, Brody?"
Brody?
I'm like,
How do you know your middle name?
no. I'm like, first off,
Trevor, what's up?
I'm not. Oh no, 100%. His name's probably like Trevin or like.
What's up? I'm Sage.
Yeah. So yeah, what's up? I'm Moose. Like no, it's so like he's like, what's up? I'm like, first off, my name's not Brody. Not the only guy I know named Brody got sacked 11 times against Auburn. Okay.
Well, chill, bro.
The second thing, he'll always when I'm leaving, like I try and just buy my stuff and like, hey, yeah, how's it going, man? You know,
Yeah.
whatever. Like I try and talk as normal as possible, but he'll always say something to me on the way out that's like, just like makes no sense. He'll be like, hey, man, all right, keep it live. Like what? Like as opposed to what? Like it's always live. Like keep it live. He'll be like, hey, man, stay standing. Like what?
Live,
Like,
love,
what-
laugh.
No,
man.
like, no.
Live, love,
It's
laugh.
like no. It's literally like one of those things where it's just like, man.
Does he seem like a good guy though?
Yeah, but like I just can't be around him for. I can only stand to be around him for
Okay.
as long as that transaction takes. Hey, I need you to grab me this, hand me this. He'd be like, yeah, man, stay live. And I'm like, what happened?
At least he's
Like what? It just reminds me of B-Rad G from Malibu's Most Wanted. I can't explain it another way. That's the only way I can
B-Rad
explain
G.
it. He's from the Boo, y'all. He's from the Boo. Like every morning I have to deal with B-Rad G from the Boo. And I love that gas station because it's got everything I want. So I just go through this internal battle. And I guess this is first world problems. It's better than being like, I don't know, in Iran where you're worried your Jeep's gonna blow up on the way to work. But like it's just so frustrating because I know we're about the same age. I know, and look, it's like people like live your truth, dog. Live your truth. It's just like stuff like that. I can't.
Come on, Brody. He's just working.
No, dude.
Well, maybe you need to work on being more understanding.
No,
on,
I just
Brody.
can't stand it.
Come on,
No,
man.
don't call me Brody.
Like you're just not really live right now, to be honest.
No, it's always something. There's always something he'll say. Like I'm trying. It's stay live or keep standing or hey man. He said one thing. He was like keep it skrill. or something like that. And I want to turn.
It could always be worse.
What does that mean? Keep
What if
it
you find
real?
out? What if you find out he's like method acting, rehearsing for a movie role? That
I
he's
hope
doing,
so.
And he wins like an Academy Award.
I
and he comes up to you,
hope so.
Jacob, thank you.
No,
Good morning.
I walk in there one morning.
I honed my skills.
No. I walk in there one morning and he's like, sir, welcome to the convenience store.
Yeah.
Is there anything I can do?
Like,
to
what
make your
happened to you?
experience more
New role.
Yeah.
New role.
Yeah,
Method
I
acting.
hope that's the case. But it's not. It's not. I'm sure he goes home and lives with his mother and sits in there and
Don't
argues about the white man.
Don't you
keeping
do
him down.
that to B-Rad G. You don't know
B-Rad?
his truth.
He's from the Boo.
Buck
I knew my rhymes was tight.
Yeah.
I knew my.
Well, we live in a society today where people own property in the metaverse but still live with their moms.
Yeah, it's I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about too, but make sure you guys subscribe. Got some great guests coming on this week as well. We're going to keep on the train about keeping men out of women's sports. We got some more stuff coming up on that. So make sure you check out our Riley Gaines interview if you haven't. And like the chances of the NBA All-Star Weekend being any fun anymore, we're gone.